I was with a guy called, there's a new guy called Magnus, and I had to shoot him off with Magnus in Altona, but the other week it hasn't happened. I just plugged him directly into the camera. I know. What about this? Same? Nice to see you.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Perfect.
Oh, that's so weird.
Well, I have left and right out, so I had that split into that. Yeah, no, no. Well, that's I do the sound.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hello and welcome. Olympic Village is the scene. Raymond behind the camera is giving you a look at the action from this great vantage point with a couple of poles still in the way, just to make yourself feel like you are in Heidelberg West, and that's what Friday night football here is all about by the banks of the Darebin Creek. Thank you very
Help us level the playing field. Sign the parliamentary petition today to fuel the growth and fund the game.
Hello and welcome to Olympic Village Friday night football in round 7 of the Senol NPL Victoria men's competition. Heidelberg off a shock upset at Churchill Reserve against St Albans just 5 days ago. They look to bounce back here on their fortress of a pitch in Melbourne's north. No doubt John Anastasiadis will be looking for a fraction more from his league leaders tonight, despite them not putting in a terrible shift last week, but somehow finding themselves on the wrong side of the result against one of the cellar-dwelling teams, Dynamo, last week. But for Melbourne City, a surprise result as well last Sunday, held at home out at Casey Fields by a 10-man Altona Magic. Can they spring another surprise here tonight against the reigning champions for their coach, Stuart McDonald? Steve Curtin with you to describe this one after what was a dry walk to the gantry. Let's take a look at those teams. John Anastasiadis decides to make no change to the side from last Sunday, so it sees Yaron Souza lining up in goal, a familiar back four of Carl O'Sullivan in right back, Ben Collins the captain joining Ryan Lethlean in central defence, Fletcher Fulton the left back. In defensive midfield, it's Anthony Lesiotis and Marcus Humbert. In front of them, Asahi Yokokawa, scorer of that wonder goal last week. On the flanks, Chock Dow and Jay McGowan, while their leading scorer, Nico Duarte, will lead the line. On the bench tonight for Johnny A, Akiel Raffi, Anthony Theo, Joseph Lee, Max Pacetto, Ethan Sardellis, and the sub-keeper, Ashton Bonsall. Let's take a look at that Melbourne City team, and Stuart McDonald has swung the changes. A couple of players away on international duty with the young Socceroos, including Peter Antonio and Jaden Nikoski, who'd started last week. Also, Lawrence Wong in that squad, who didn't feature last week. So they line up with James Neuenhausen in goal. And coming into the defence is Harry Shillington, Zane Schreiber, the captain in central defence, Ryan Calms alongside Liam Bonatig. Vesyan Kutleshi keeps his place, and in comes into midfield. He's joined by Emin Jurakovic, Kavian Ratmani. Out wide, the leading scorer, Roland Ballo, Beckham Baker on the other flank, and coming back into the number 9 position, Ben Mazzeo. Let's take a look at the subs for Stuart McDonald's side. Lockie Charles, he drops to the bench after starting last week, as does Angus McIntosh. Aaron Cartwright on the bench, Isaiah Bolton, Luke Beshchanovsky coming in to the squad to get a spot on the bench tonight, and Oliver Carroll, another player who started last week, dropping to the bench. Melbourne City is ready to rock and roll. They're going to be playing to the southern end of the venue. That's the right of your screen here. We're in this fantastic elevated broadcast position here, giving you the best look at the action in the round 7 of the competition tonight, as we get the round underway with Friday night football under this tremendous floodlit pitch. The playing surface is in excellent condition. There's no excuses for either side. Melbourne City to get us underway in their city blue. Kicking to that southern road end of the venue, our referee tonight, Daniel Woodyard, assisted by Nicoletta Sotiropoulos, Gabriel Maroulis, and the fourth official in front of us, Lazaros Pantelides. This is Neuenhausen, as we said, coming in to replace Lockie Charles tonight in goal. You won't miss him in the highlighter pink goalkeeper kit. Even the boots are matching with that uniform. Ben Collins all the way back to Yaron Souza. Yaron Souza picking up 3 yellow cards already this season. One of them in comical fashion a couple of weeks ago, in the final minutes out at Jack Edwards, with a little coming together with Joe Guest. He leads the league in yellow cards so far this season. Not quite at the point in time where we're having players picking up their 5th yellow card and incurring a suspension, though. So Melbourne City trying to dominate the possession early. Neuenhausen, Chock Dow applying the pressure. Melbourne City able to play out. Crafty football from them already tonight. It's going to be an intriguing battle to see how these two match up. Haven't met at this particular level before. We've seen Heidelberg United hosting a tremendous occasion against the Melbourne City A-League squad back in 2015 at this venue in front of around 11,500. That match was tight, fairly tight early after Fornaroli had opened the scoring for Melbourne City. Now an A-League player with Avondale. He managed to score a double. Aaron Moy with a hat-trick that night in front of a packed Olympic Village. Not quite as many here tonight, but there's still a few coming through the floodgates. the turnstile, should I say. We won't call them floodgates until people start really piling through them. We have to mention it's been a tremendous cold snap here after so many of these fixtures in the opening 6 rounds of the competition being played out in warm conditions, humid conditions of late too. We've seen a lot of rain around the city this week, so the track is a little heavy out there, but still in good nick. As the ball comes in, Neuenhausen will have to tap this one over. In fact, he's confident enough to claim it. Like picking apples in the orchard there was Mr. Neuenhausen. He's a tall figure as well. 3 appearances and 1 clean sheet for him at A-League level so far. It's his chance to impress with his distribution here as he picks out Shillington, who's looks like he's lining up as the right back. Touch for Mazzeo. Former Melbourne City player getting on the ball in the blonde hair is Marcus Humbert. Yokokawa, he's not quite got his angles right there, but boy did he have them right last week when he opened the scoring at Churchill Reserve. Got the ball in a tight angle, rolled it out from under his feet like a futsal player, and once he got into position to fire the shot, well, you knew what was going to happen. There was really only ever going to be one outcome, and he lashed it into the roof of the net. Unfortunately for the Heidelberg fans who'd made the trip to Melbourne's North West on Sunday, they couldn't hang on and get the 3 points. They didn't even get a point at all in the end. They come home empty-handed, so they'll be even more hungry tonight to try and hang on to their top spot, which they have on goal difference over a weary South Melbourne side. Left lean, back to Souza. It's a nice switch of play out wide. Heidelberg trying to ask a few questions here of this young South Melbourne team, but winning it back well. Setting a task here for Ben Mazzeo as he charges forward. Low ball into the box looking for Baker. This is Beckham Baker on the volley. And what a fine finish from the youngster. Absolutely fantastic. Their first attempt on goal, Yaron Souza is beaten. And it just sat up so invitingly. Beckham Baker, the 17-year-old, his eyes lit up there. Put his foot through that one and lashed it into the net. Melbourne City with the early lead, shocking the crowd at the Village here, who've been stunned into silence. Winning the ball back in the centre of the park well. It's a quick counter-attack. They went forward at a rate of knots. And the Melbourne City fans who've made their way out here tonight have got a smile on their face. In this international round, it's a good excuse to come out and check out what's happening. Plenty of players with A-League experience in this squad for Melbourne City tonight. Well, watching that again, it was a fairly standard sort of ball into the box. First time, getting it in early was the key. Beckham Baker's first touch to dolly it up in front of himself to volley it past Souza. And if he's meant to do that, that is absolutely outstanding stuff. Just couldn't have sat up any more invitingly. Bonatig switching the play to Calms. Ball over the top here. Lethlean's going to get there first, but his clearances straight against Ratmani. A little bit too casual, perhaps, from the Heidelberg defence. They've been caught cold here on a chilly evening in Heidelberg West by this young Melbourne City side. Inside 5 minutes, the 17-year-old Beckham Baker on the score sheet. He scored 12 last season in the second tier. VPL 1. That's his first in NPL Victoria, so congratulations to him. Fair way to do it. Good interception. Here's Mazzeo. Baker is asking for it. Lesiotis winning it back. Lesiotis able to play it out wide to McGowan, and Durate's motoring forward, shoulder to shoulder with his opponent, but the ball ran out of play. There was nothing sinister in that. If he could have kept it in play, been surging towards the goal with Yokokawa and Chokdao in support to his left. At Melbourne City, they're managing this game very well so far. Shillington now. He was unable to pick out Ratmani there. Humbert, that's clever, and he's been brought down by Zane Schreiber. Daniel Woodyard saying no more of that, thanks. But no further action. Souza a long way out of his goal, plays the diagonal. Shillington cuts it out, but he had his pocket picked by Chokdao, who's looking to get a quick reply. It's Chokdao! And he was leaning back into the shot, and he couldn't make the most of it. It was a clever interception. He read the play well. A really handy steal off the young Melbourne City right back. Plenty of action happening around Melbourne this weekend, but only the two games tonight. The other one, Bentley Greens and Dandenong Thunder in the top flight of the Senol NPL Victoria. We'll keep you across the scores in that one from Kingston Heath. That's smacked forward by Bonatig. Souza is out of his box and he's colliding with Roland Bello, and he manages to keep it in the midst. We talked about this venue being a fortress for the Burgers, especially last year. They have already tasted defeat once here to Dandy City in that grand final rematch recently. Ball over the top is a useful one. Mazzeo and Fulton. What a good duel this is out wide. Well played, Lesiotis. Winning it back off Ratmani. Lesiotis, he hasn't got much on though upfield, and his pass is going to run to Kutleshi. Kutleshi, one of the few players who kept his spot in the 11. He's back after a multi-game suspension that he incurred with a red card against Preston that was replayed several times. Still not sure of the status of the Preston Lions laptop from the sidelines. Everyone behind the ball here for Heidelberg. They're sitting in a compact block. It's only about 20 metres between the back and the front of the outfield players, but Bello has still found a little pocket of space here. And flicked on. And it goes across the face of the goal, out for a corner. It was a dangerous ball in by Zane Schreiber. One of those players coming into the starting 11 tonight. Nervous moments here for the Burgers. So they're going to need to defend this set piece. They've got everyone back inside their own penalty area. All waiting for the delivery. There's plenty of height in this young team in City Blue. It's away by Collins. A good defensive header. Only as far as Mazzeo. Bit of head tennis. Collins again. Yokokawa was in there. Forward by McGowan, but it's all sky blue down there. Picked up by Schreiber. Shillington. Melbourne City holding all the aces early in this one. Here's Balla. His feet were almost too fast for him on the heavy deck there. Well, he gave the pitch a bit of a rap from what we could see earlier, but it's definitely not a heavy 8 in horse racing parlance, but maybe on that far side, it's just a little bit heavier where the water is sloping towards to drain. Fulton keeps this one in right on the chalk of the touchline, but only to the advantage of City, who could be in here again. It's Baker again for his second, and Souza manages to claim the ball. It's the last thing the Burgers want, to go 2 behind this early. Stuart McDonald, he likes what he's seeing out there so far. Still a little shocked that they were not only held by a lowly Altona Magic outfit last week, but at home and against 10 players for more than half the game, and they had to come from behind late on as well, with Christian Polyzoudis scoring in the 87th minute to cancel out the goal from John Mabok just after halftime. Here's Humbert. He'll be keen for a goal. Marcus Humbert, it falls for Yokokawa, appeals for handball, play goes on. Chock Dow is there. The shot is charged down. Plenty of City Blue back to do the defensive work, and no room for the Burgers to find a way to create an opportunity that will challenge James Neuenhausen. They win themselves their first corner of the evening here. And the home crowd is trying to find some voice here. They've been all too quiet so far. They haven't had a lot to shout about, and Chock Dow's over to line up the corner kick from the quadrant. He's going to need to set this one out towards the top of the box. The breeze is blowing from the south, so it's going to blow it back in towards the goal. Doesn't beat the first man, so that's a disappointing one. Duarte's gone to ground on the corner of the 6-yard box. He's struggling a little bit. Daniel Woodyard has stopped play, so we're going to have a short delay here. And if you have just joined us, it's Beckham Baker's goal that separates the two sides. Set up by Ben Mazzeo. Melbourne City winning the ball back fairly high, releasing Mazzeo. Beckham Baker's first touch managed to lift it up for himself to volley it past Souza, who had no chance from close range. A really fabulous goal. You just fancy it won't be the last goal that we see tonight between these two sides. Both very well coached, full of technical talent, physicality. Heidelberg so good, known for being so good at scoring goals in what's basically become known as Heidelberg time, that last sort of 30 minutes of games when they managed to run over the top of teams. Free kick here going the way of City. Bessian Kutleshi cut down, and he felt that challenge. Still on the ground. Duarte's back up after he went to the turf only a few seconds before. Kutleshi's back up on his feet. Such a handy player, good recruit coming in from Western United is Bessian Kutleshi, just 17 years of age. 13 appearances for Western and 3 goals in the VPL 1 last season. Here he is again, getting the ball forward, quick and direct, looking for Mazzeo, who's lining up on the right flank. Baker is lining up through the middle tonight, Bello lining up on the left. So there's that unpredictability about Melbourne City week in, week out. They turn over so many players. It must be so difficult to prepare for because you just don't really know what you're going to be coming up against. Here's McGowan. He's been all too quiet so far as Heidelberg are being concerned. A little bit of space here as he gets the ball in past Kutleshi. Duarte back to goal. He was trying to turn and face forward, but he's able to tee up McGowan again. Lesiotis. And look at those blue shirts closing him down quickly. Fulton, good feet from him. Fulton again picks up the ball. In a tight space is McGowan receiving from Humbert. He decides to try the snapshot, but from a little bit too far out, and he wasn't quite set well enough to hit that with enough venom to test out the tall figure of James Neuenhausen. Well, if you weren't able to make it out to Heidelberg West tonight to catch this one, we hope you're enjoying the coverage on the Senol NPL Victoria live stream tonight. Steve Curtin with you. My man Raman behind the camera here. He's got his winter woolies on because it's a cold night. It's 14, but in the breeze, I'm sure the feels like temperature. We'll check that shortly, but it's going to feel like a little bit less than that again. Fortunately, the breeze has died down a little bit compared to what it was earlier this morning because it wasn't a breeze, it was a howling gale. Good communication from Neuenhausen. Neuenhausen, one of the more senior players in this squad at 22 years of age. Heidelberg just waiting for that mistake to happen, but it hasn't come so far from Melbourne City. Their concentration's been good. We might have just spoken too soon as that pass couldn't find Kavi and Ratmani. So Heidelberg looking to recycle possession here, all the way back to Souza, who gets it going forward quickly towards O'Sullivan in the number 2 jersey on the far side, but he couldn't see where the ball went and was picked up by Bello, well intercepted by Collins, who was able to block it, control it and play it up to the feet of Jay McGowan. Forward by O'Sullivan. Good defending by Calms again. The big boy from Bendigo's looking very confident and composed out there against these players. Many more years he's senior. Ryan Calms in the captain's armband for Melbourne City, just 19 years of age. Came through the ranks at Strathdale in the old Bendigo Amateur Soccer League, as it was known. No longer anymore. It's been rebranded under the direct guidance of FE these days, as of just this season. Then spent some time at Bendigo City before joining Melbourne City. Plenty of long trips down the Calder for him and his parents before him and his mum set up camp at Rowville, a bit closer to Casey Fields. Left lean. Good pressing from Melbourne City, quick to close down. Not really even allowing time on the ball for Collins, and Lethlean just closing down all of the back four for Heidelberg. Oh, it's going to break here for Choctaw. Fulton's going to supply the overlap. Shillington to beat. Fletcher Fulton cuts inside. Will he get space for the shot? Oh, clever from Humbert to find Duarte. Duarte again! Oh, and it's ricocheted. Like it was heading towards that far right-hand corner for just a moment. Good space here for Yokokawa. McGowan providing the overlap. It's headed away by Kutleshi. Forward in front of Bello. Collins mopping up again back there. He hasn't lost any of his class that we saw him possess so often last season. Week in, week out. Committed, but composed as well in defence. The Burgers captain. Good flick on by Yokokawa, but it's going to run through to Calms. Neuenhausen can reload here. So we've gone past the 20-minute mark at Olympic Village. It's Beckham Baker's goal that separates the two sides. It came inside 5 minutes. Spectators still making their way through the turnstiles here. This is a good turn from Roland Bello. You can see Heidelberg don't want to give him any time on the ball. 3 of them there to crowd him out of possession. Away by Bonatig. Picked up by McGowan. He can get the ball into the box. Duarte was there, but again, good defending, good positioning from Calms. Lesiotis got space for the shot, and he drives it, and it was rising all the way into the fencing behind the goal. The best look that Heidelberg have had so far. Coming from the inspirational midfielder, Anthony Lesiotis. He's hit that from somewhere between 20 and 25 yards out. Real purchase on it there. Ratmani dispossessed. Just hacked forward by Collins. Duarte might be onside here, but he won't be able to reach the ball before it crosses the touchline. Just taking a look around the grounds, and down at Kingston Heath we've got a goal there, and it's a goal by the home side. Bentley leading Dandy Thunder by 1-0. So Bentley looking to make it a couple of wins on the bounce after they dismantled Green Gully at home last Friday night. Dandenong Thunder as well, getting a rare win for them this season against South last week, but they're on the wrong end of the score line at the moment there. And it's Heidelberg on the wrong end of the score line here at the moment. On their home patch, this would be 2 losses in the first 7 rounds at home. That would be something that I don't think too many people would have expected if it is to remain like this tonight. After their loss here a couple of weeks ago to Dandy City. Choctaw gets it into the box. There's a lot on it, and there's too much for Jay McGowan. He's not the tallest figure at the best of times, and really had no chance there with the flight and trajectory of that one. And it's out of play over near that construction site. It's progressing that facility there. It's been a long work in progress. I know tradespeople can take a long time to find availability. It certainly looks like it's been the case with that project there for Heidelberg, but looking forward to seeing that building coming into play later in the season. Shillington, pressure from Choctaw, forces him back. Forward by Bonatig. Mazeo's the target. He's header for Ratmani. Baker. Fulton read it best, but look at the pace here. Mazeo. Fulton's recovery speed was good too in the end, and it had to be. So Heidelberg just lacking a little bit of spark at the moment. As they try and play their way out of their own 6-yard box. McGowan receiving from Souza. O'Sullivan hasn't had a huge impact on this one so far, the right back. Oh, they've turned it over here. A chance for Baker. Baker, the one-handed save by Souza. He had to react in mid-air as the shot took a touch and changed direction. Showing all of his goalkeeper and volleyball skills there is Yaron Souza, and he puts it out for another Melbourne City corner. So going over to take it, Evan Durakovic. Another player with plenty of A-League experience, the 20-year-old. In it comes. It's going to fall for Baker. Schreiber plays it forward. Shillington playing it back. As you can see, the right back stepping into that central role as they try and play out, as we've seen from City this season. The fullbacks dropping into the position that would be occupied by the number 6 on the tactics board. A lot of rotations from Stuart McDonald's side. They've been a joy to watch, even when they're not getting results. When they are getting results, even better. That absolute mauling of St Albans a couple of weeks ago. Out at Casey Fields. Players in City Blue moving around at all angles, perfectly in tune with one another. Calms plays it out wide. Schreiber's ball back inside, and it's no nonsense this time from Bonatig. Don't see that too often from City, but such was the pressure on Liam Bonatig. Decided to send it long, and it might come back here with interest perhaps. McGowan, was he pulled down there? He decides to keep going, and Daniel Woodyard's going to allow the advantage. They might have rather take the free kick. Lesiotis, quite the rainbow kick, but he did knock it out in front of himself. Almost a la Beckham Baker. But it didn't sit up kindly for him to volley at home. Shillington runs into a bit of a cul-de-sac. Was forward by Schreiber. Ballo's going to keep it in out wide. Kutleshi. Well, Stuart McDonald's got to be super happy with what he's seen so far tonight. They seem like they're in complete control here. Bello out wide. Heidelberg have had some moments in the final third, but to be fair, City have looked comfortable for the entire 28.5 minutes that we've gone so far. Friday night football. Senol NPL Victoria. Round 7 of the competition. Melbourne City impressing me so far in this one. Fulton's going to go back to left lean. Just slices the 7-9 under it. As mentioned, the breeze is favouring the end that Heidelberg are attacking this half. It can make it harder to nail those through balls when you are playing with the breeze behind your back, but should make it easier from a defensive point of view. Bonatig's header. Flying high was Mazzeo. Shillington's going to make the recovery, sends it forward. Ratmani had his pocket picked by Fletcher Fulton. Chock down now. Back inside, playing the 1-2. Fulton's tackle was late. And will this be the first caution of the evening? Just might get away with a warning here. Don't feel the intent was there, but perhaps the action was worth considering the caution. Pass was just left a bit short. So it's Jurakovic who's hobbling away. He definitely felt that one as he reaches down to readjust the shin pad and hobble back up the pitch into his midfield position. Emin Jurakovic. Here's the skipper, Ryan Calms, playing it forward for Baker. Back to goal, worried out of it by left lean. Baker continues pressing. He's putting Souza under an enormous amount of pressure. Ball forward out in front of Roland Bello. O'Sullivan, perfectly timed sliding challenge by the Irishman. Switch of play by Lesiotis is a clever one. It's a strong header by Shillington, and again, doubling up. Ratmani's pulled down, and the fouls are adding up, and they're going to add up to a yellow card. The first of the evening. It's going to go to Chockdow. Just a little bit too cynical for the liking of referee Daniel Woodyard. So the Heidelberg left winger goes into the book. Well, they haven't really mustered up much at all to please the home crowd here. Heidelberg in front of goal. Their best Best look was that shot by Lesiotis from outside the box. And they're going to have to defend here. Lesiotis, in fact, it's away. Well away as well by Ben Collins. Here's Nico Duarte running at Calms. He gets into the box. Nico Duarte, can he pull the trigger here? Duarte! Oh, well blocked. It's a tremendous block by Bonatig, who got back. Put the leg down like a outfielder backing up a cover drive. Knee down. Blocked it with the back of the heel. Duarte looked like he was in for Heidelberg's best look that they've had so far. He somehow breezed past Calms, but he couldn't breeze past Bonatig. So the defence does its job, but Duarte's in behind here again. Nico Duarte! Oh, and his finish has let him down there. It's gone so high, it's gone over the fencing behind the goal. And I think it's gone into the canteen as well, as the children up there are racing to act as ball kids just for the moment. Well, it all opened up there for Nico Duarte, who's had now a couple of looks at goal. Good signs, though, for Heidelberg. At least they're breaking through this staunch Melbourne City defence. So we approach the final 10 minutes of the first half. And the chances have been few and far between, but that's 2 in as many minutes. Now, Lesiotis, it's going to be a card here for Ratmani. So 1 yellow card apiece. A card for Choctaw and a card for Cavi and Ratmani. Number 17 for City. So set piece opportunity here. Choctaw to deliver. So you have to be careful with the breeze behind him. He doesn't send this too long towards that. Building the work in progress, building over there behind the goal as he swings it in. It's a tasty ball, a juicy one, but Melbourne City, plenty of players back to repel, and now Bellow's going to send it further forward. There's no one up the park in City Blue, so Sosa's got his time to pick this one up, and Choctaw can turn and reload. Fletcher Fulton was playing traffic cop, pointing him to go back to Yaron Sosa. Left lane. Yokokawa couldn't bring it under his spell. It's a rare occasion that you see that. Shillington was taking no chances, puts it out onto the hill. Over here on the western side of the venue by the banks of the Darebin Creek and the Northland Shopping Centre further beyond that. At this historic old venue in Heidelberg West, the Olympic Village. And it's seen witness to a cracking strike that separates these two sides by Beckham Baker inside 5 minutes tonight in the Senol NPL Victoria Round 7 clash. Shillington again, he's had to repel a lot of aerial bombardment, has the right back, and he's stood up to it time and time again. There's a chance here, McGowan puts it out in front of Yokokawa. He just dinks it in. Duarte was the target, but well placed was Bonatig to head it away. Yokokawa dug out the cross. Duarte thought he'd made the run into the right spot. Positioning of Liam Bonatig has been on point tonight, time and time again. So City going short from the goal kick, and they play out through Schreiber, Shillington and Bonatig. Instructions to press from the Heidelberg technical area right in front of our broadcast position here. O'Sullivan, he's got a bit of space in front of him. McGowan is free to his right. Gets the cross in on the left foot. It's away by Calms, but doesn't beat Yokokawa, who scored from a similar area last week. And they're lining up, and they got it in each other's way there, did Duarte and Humbert your fancy. But there's a chance now for Lesiotis. Not sure if he panicked or he Just didn't realise how much time he had. He snatched at the chance, though. Didn't put his laces through that one, and it was off target, which is another rarity that you would see from Anthony Lesiotis. That was unfortunate for the Burgers. Duarte with his back to goal, and Humbert was coming through forward. It would have been a better option for Humbert to take it facing the goal, but Duarte backing back and just getting each other's way a fraction. But Heidelberg looking a little bit more likely in the last 10 minutes. Melbourne City trying to hang on to this 1-0 lead to go into the dressing rooms at half-time as you see the composure on the ball from Carms. He's happy to draw Yokokawa right up to him. And that's the intention. You can see that Melbourne City, that they're trying to bait these Heidelberg defenders. Heidelberg pressing attackers, should I say, and then try and play through. Mazzeo, Schreiber. Melbourne City players continue to interchange positions. Schreiber, Bello, who has remained wide left for the entire evening so far. Schreiber's going to try and pick him out. Making the run further ahead of him was Emin Jurakovic. Stayed in play. Humbert was going back to pick it up. Not in play now as Ben Collins has lashed that one into the eastern stand. So Heidelberg backing their starting 11 that was defeated on Sunday. No change. Will there be a change at half-time, perhaps? Some of those options on the bench. Could we see the likes of Max Bassetto, Anthony Theo, Akiel Raffi, Joseph Lee, Ethan Sardellis coming on at half-time to try and change something in this game? Kutleshi. You can see the idea is to shift around the Heidelberg players, create space for the likes of Mazzeo, the pacey attacker, pacey and agile. Support from Shillington. He's still there, decides doesn't need to use him. He's got Bonatig there. Everyone in a yellow shirt behind the ball at the moment. He's Calms. William Bonatig looking for options to play through. It's a clever one. Ratmani, and Bello's got a little bit of space here. He can run it O'Sullivan. Roland Bello plays it back to Kutleshi. Schreiber, still Schreiber. Bello. Melbourne City really controlling this. Schreiber now. Kutleshi, pressure from Humbert. Good technical ability from Kutleshi. He's able to come away with the football and tries his luck, and it flushes over the bar. Well, Marcus Humbert was doing his best to dispossess Bessian Kutleshi. But the man who scored 3 in the VPL 1 for Western United last season couldn't quite get his first in the NPL Victoria, the top tier there. What a goal it would have been, though, had it managed to fly under the crossbar and past Yaron Souza to make it 2. So Heidelberg can reload here. There's a lot of players high up the park. You can see Melbourne City, they're daring Heidelberg to play it short. And they win the free kick this time. Bonatig knocking down Yokokawa. Bit of physicality from the 20-year-old. Here's Lesiotis. You can see the task being sent from the sidelines from Stuart McDonald and Jimmy Jego for these City players is just to maintain the intensity all the way through till the halftime whistle before they go into the dressing rooms and regroup. Heidelberg at long diagonal towards Choctow's side of the pitch, trying to get an overload. You can see that Fulton was trying to push on to Shillington, and it's allowed Choctaw to come away with the football, and he can switch the play here. Good first touch needed from McGowan, and he finds O'Sullivan. McGowan. Now a bit of space for Humbert. Good move by the Burgers. At the back post was Fulton, and almost ricocheted to him. Plenty of applause from the Heidelberg technical area. They're happy with what they've seen there, executing their plan almost to perfection. The overload down the left-hand side, and then quick switch of play to the right-hand side. And they've got the opportunity here from a Choctaw set piece. Plenty of tall timber. Lethlean and Collins and Duarte at the back post. They make their runs now. Lethlean was there. Collins is there! And Ben Collins levels things up just when Melbourne City thought they were going into the dressing rooms with the lead. It's the Burgers skipper leading by example yet again from the set piece. Good ball in from Choctaw. Lethlean made the run for the header. It was pretty well timed. It made its way to the back post. And Ben Collins did the rest. Jay McGowan might have almost got a touch to help it over the line, but I think we'll give it to Ben Collins. And the Burgers fans here in the venue and tuning into the live stream and breathe a sigh of relief. They're right back into this one. Well, catching that one again on the replay. Collins definitely driving it towards goal. Did McGowan get a touch or not? Either way, what matters most is that we're back to all square here at Olympic Village. Right before the half-time interval to the last minute of regulation time in the first 45. There shouldn't be too much needing to be added on what's been a cool night. It's been played at a good tempo. Melbourne City will be kicking themselves. They've been so good for so much of this first half. Enjoying the benefit of that early goal in the game state that allowed them to dictate terms. And we're now back to all square. Choctaw can play it through. The overlap was from Fulton. Zayo getting back, doing the defensive duty. That'll impress Stuart McDonald. Lesiotis trying to play the 1-2. Doesn't quite come off. Schreiber's going to play it. Oh, he's turned it over here. Yokokawa's got a look at goal. Oh, good save to deny Yokokawa from James Neuenhausen at full stretch. And the danger is not clear yet. Marcus Humbert, the former City man, they're closing him down quickly. Lesiotis. Oh, and it's just past the post from Duarte this time. Well, it's taken a touch off a City player, and the Heidelberg fans, they've come to life here in first half stoppage time. They really got a sniff here, the league leaders. It's not quite smelling blood in the water, but they've come from a long way back in this one, and the balance of play levelled things up, and they could have almost gone 2-1 ahead, and that's off the line. Well, that could have been going all the way in from the Choctaw corner, you fancy. Danger still there for City as well. Yokokawa attacked away only as far as Ryan Lethlean. O'Sullivan's got space for the cross here. Hangs up the cross. Oh, it almost fell for Choctaw. It was away by Ben Mazzeo. Fulton's going to need to go all the way back here. That'll just about do us for the first half. Well, it's been a first half that's had a sting in the tail. Oh, Shillington, it just took a bit longer to run through to him, and his clearance was charged down by Choctaw, but luck was a fortune as it ricocheted back to the City right back. Oh, turned over by Mazzeo. Duarte dropping deep here, the striker. Closed down well, Mazzeo. O'Sullivan with a full head of steam up. Humbert. Choctaw with the curler, and it's only centimetres away from the top right corner. perfect view of that from this angle. You can see it spinning past the post, and the Alexandros chant is up here on the terraces because Heidelberg has finished this first half with a flurry, and they go into the dressing rooms at 1-1 here. Beckham Baker with the early goal in the first 5 minutes, set up by Ben Mazzeo after Melbourne City winning the ball back high up the pitch. It was an archetypal Melbourne City goal. And they've levelled things up here. Ben Collins credited with the goal by the ground announcer that could have taken a touch by Jay McGowan on its way over, but we'll give it to Ben Collins. Good corner from Choctaw, and Ben Collins levelling things up when Heidelberg needed someone to step up and show the attackers how it's done. It was their captain and central defender who so often is called upon in situations like that and sees the sides go into the dressing rooms at half-time. Locked at 1-1. We'll just check around the grounds, and it's still Bentley leading by a goal to nil down at Kingston Heath that match. Also at half-time. So we will take a short intermission here. Looking forward to your company for the second 45. My name is Steve Curtin, and we'll be back after this short break from Olympic Village. Friday night football in the Senol NPL Victoria at half-time. It is 1-1 between Heidelberg United and Melbourne City. Well, hello and welcome back to Olympic Village. It's the Senol NPL Victoria Friday Night Football, Heidelberg United and Melbourne City. We're locked at 1-1 at halftime. Beckham Baker with the opening goal inside 5 minutes. And it was cancelled out by a goal by Jay McGowan. Looked like it had been initially converted by captain Ben Collins, but we have got confirmation at half-time that Jay McGowan did get that final touch. Ben Collins certainly celebrated it harder and convinced a lot of us here, the ground announcer and us included, that he might have been credited with the goal, but Jay McGowan has the goal to his name, so they are the goal scorers, and it's an exciting second half, and it's straight into the action here. Roland Ballo bearing down on goal. Showed a little bit too much of it to Ben Collins. He's able to come away with the ball. That was a bright moment there for Melbourne City's top scorer. Just checked the wrong direction, I suppose, and showed too much of it to the championship captain, Ben Collins. Speaking to some of his teammates who aren't in the matchday squad this evening at halftime, they point out that he can be a bit cheeky at trying to claim those goals, like he tried to wheel away as he looked like he'd scored when Heidelberg equalised. Jay McGowan's celebration's a little more subdued, but he's been credited with the goal. Melbourne City again through Ballo, receiving from Durakovic, asking questions of O'Sullivan. It's a decent ball across the face of the goal. Mazzeo's going to pick it up, playing it back. Melbourne City going to recycle here. Schreiber. Durakovic. Calms, receiving from Bonatig. Shillington. Everyone behind the ball for the Burgers. The game state has changed since that first half where Melbourne City led for around 40 minutes of playing time. Here's Kutleshi. He was bright in the first half, trying to play the 1-2 off Baker. Wasn't able to pick it up, and Duarte hadn't quite stayed up the pitch far enough to be an option there as he tried to get back and put the pressure on. Calms, the captain, and Bonatig combining yet again as they try and look for options further afield. This is Mazzeo. Durakovic. Looking for options inside. The goal scorer McGowan back to close him down. Kutleshi in the long sleeves. Shillington's ball. It ricocheted awkwardly, and Calms can make sure it finds its way. The left lane made sure it found its way back to Souza. So locked at 1-1 here. We hope you're enjoying this one wherever you're tuning in, whether you're in Melbourne, further afield in regional Victoria, interstate, or abroad. Pleasure to be able to bring you the action on a chilly Friday evening in Heidelberg West. Souza out to claim. And that right boot out precariously high. That's a great ball for O'Sullivan. The Irishman's charging forward, looking for options ahead of him. McGowan, who drifted inboard. O'Sullivan's urged by the pass to go in and cut it back, and he does just that. It hung in the air. Yokokawa couldn't quite judge the flight of it well enough to mount an aerial assault. Full turn, and now Yokokawa gets to the byline, and he couldn't quite keep it in as he did the pirouette right on the byline. Out of play at the Southern Road end of the venue, in front of the big digital scoreboard that says 1-1 between these two sides. So still sitting on 14 degrees, which was the temperature at kickoff. The feels like is registering 13 with that cool southerly. Not blowing quite as strong as it was earlier in the evening, but it is still favouring the left of screen, that breeze. The passway Calms is picked off by the goal scorer McGowan, and he gets the ball into the box. Yokokawa, what a save, Neuenhausen! Wow, Yokokawa thought he'd given Heidelberg the lead for the first time tonight. McGowan, the goal scorer, almost turned provider there as well. Neuenhausen quick to react. Yokokawa was headed a little bit too close to the middle of the goal, or it would have been 2-1. Choctaw again with the set piece. It's a disappointing one. He's going to get a second chance to supply here. O'Sullivan took a touch off Ratmani. It looks like Choctaw's been booted off corner duties as Marcus Humbert's over to take. A little bit of frustration from the Melbourne City technical area to our left. They've been very good for a lot of this game tonight, but it's looking a little vulnerable now as Humbert's ball into the box. Punched away Neuenhausen. Further away by Baker. Fulton's there to pick up the loose ball. They can recycle through Souza, and now Lesiotis gets it going quickly. Humbert's just about onside. Good header by Kutleshi, who had the hang time there. Durakovic running with the ball. Baker, the goal scorer. Clever from him. Souza forced into a great save. And the flag is up eventually. So still no changes for either side after the half-time break. It was Ratmani who forced Souza into the save before the offside flag went up in any case. That's a good distribution by Souza to find Fulton. Duarte. That's clever, but closed down well. Mazzeo winning the ball back. Was he fouled there? He certainly was. Wow, the speed of Ben Mazzeo has caused problems for Heidelberg on a few occasions tonight. That's another example of it right there. Not only the speed, but the acceleration. Those little legs really get pumping quickly. Here's Neuenhausen. Playing with his feet like a young Manuel Neuer. Bello. Durakovic making the running. This is Evan Durakovic. Good save, Souza. Spread himself well. Durakovic presented with the one-on-one. And the 20-year-old who scored 3 times in the VPL 1 last season couldn't find the back of the net there. Jay McGowan's been floored off the pitch. His play's going to go on right in front of the Heidelberg technical area. He's been helped back up to his feet by Kutleshi, who's certainly knows well that part of the pitch. Tussles that can occur in that part of the pitch as well, as we saw against Preston. Kutleshi again wins the free kick. And it does look like John Anastasiadis is preparing his first change of the evening. And we're hearing it's going to be Anthony Theodoropoulos, who's running through the different scenarios in the display book at the moment. Wait and see who's the player who's going to be sacrificed. Max Bassetto looks like he's ready to take off the tracksuit top, but it is cold. He may not want to take it off until the last second. Defensive header by Fulton, who was flattened by his Melbourne City opponent, Mazzeo. So Anthony Theo stripped and ready to go in the long sleeves. Players making sure they've done plenty of warming up on this cold evening to protect any risk to the hamstrings and groins if they go out there and put in a big effort. Oh, look at Collins driving out of central defence. And good distribution to find Jay McGowan, who looks like he's recovered from that coming together a moment ago. Humbert, good weight on the pass for Yokokawa, straight down the middle of the goal of Neuenhausen, who makes yet another save. Both goalkeepers have been busy in the last few minutes. So Anthony Theo getting his last instructions from Savas Patinkas before he comes on, and the player coming off, well, it's a little bit of a surprise. He normally goes the full 90, but perhaps he's just struggling with a bit of an injury at the moment as Fletcher Fulton, he's going off on the far side, and it looks like it's just going to be a straight swap with Anthony Theodoropoulos shifting into the left-back role. So one of those players whose versatility is an asset, and he can swap into either of the full-back roles or in midfield, as we've seen as well quite often. He's got a handy eye for goal as well, but he's going to be doing the defensive duties here and lining up on the pacey Ben Mazzeo. So he's going to have his hands full, but he does have the fresh legs at least, the only player to be subbed into the game so far this evening from either side. Here's O'Sullivan. Fast feet from him. McGowan under pressure from Durakovic, and it was good pressure from Durakovic, who doesn't win the throw, but he's certainly pinned Heidelberg into their own defensive third. So Melbourne City still pressing these Heidelberg defenders. You fancy Yokokawa might have got the free kick there, but no decision was coming as Schreiber had his eye on the Heidelberg player more than the ball. A little bit of hostility between those two after that decision. Or non-decision as far as Heidelberg's staff in the technical area were concerned. Free kick to City. Durakovic is over it. Daniel Woodyard's indication is body language is to wait for the whistle. Jay McGowan, the goal scorer, is standing at 10 yards, and everyone else for the Burgers is back on the edge of the box. This one hangs high into the night sky, and there's way too much on that ball. Always a risk with the breeze behind your back to just overhit it. Emin Durakovic did exactly that as it went out of play over there in the construction zone of Olympic Village. We've got the sponsor's vehicle just parked in front of it too. Looks like a sports utility vehicle more so than a cement mixer, which we have seen at a couple of grounds in the NPL Victoria in recent weeks. Collins drives it long after it was initially just nudged short by Souza. Anthony Theo, the fresh legs, is going to take the throw quickly. Looking for Duarte. Melbourne City able to play out of a tight area. Bonatig. Again, you can see they're trying to bait these Heidelberg players to come out of that defensive shape and defensive block. And now they go long and diagonal, looking for Durakovic. Well read by O'Sullivan, but he hasn't got a lot of friends there to support him. Eventually heard a voice that was Ben Collins. Away again. Chance here, going to ground was Ratmani. Lost his footing at the crucial moment. Lesiotis fouled. Heidelberg free kick. Heidelberg with 4 of their substitutes engaging in a pretty vigorous warm-up to our right. So more changes incoming. Max Becerra, you fancy, might be the next player brought into the action. Ben Collins onto the right foot, then back onto the left. Duarte pulling out wide. Choctaw there as well. Melbourne City able to clear their lines. Now left lean looking for some options ahead of him. Sousa just drives it long, so a mixed approach between short and direct football from Heidelberg. A lot of questions in the NPL Victoria circles this week about whether Heidelberg will try and play a little bit more Route 1 football against this Melbourne City side that are they're hard to play through their press. The short build-up approach certainly didn't work for St Albans against Melbourne City a couple of weeks ago. Kutleshi's throw. Back to his captain in Calms. Heidelberg's active fans are trying to find their voice and urge on their players. It's that kind of game where the 12th man could just about be the difference between 1 point and 3. Choctaw trying to win the ball back, and he's done just that. Choctaw, he's got a little bit of space ahead of him. Still he goes, Duarte. Out wide is McGowan. Just floats the ball in. It's away by Calms. It falls to Yokokawa. And again, Mazzeo back doing the defensive work. Player known for his attacking, but his defensive work rate has been really impressive tonight. Alessiotis now. Paperwork coming in for a Melbourne City substitution that is locked and loaded, ready to go at the next stoppage perhaps. Here's Ryan Calms. Kutleshi under a bit of pressure from McGowan. Melbourne City still moving players around, particularly their defensive midfielders and their fullbacks, always looking to switch positions and try and bamboozle their more experienced opponents, Heidelberg. The NPL Victoria champions nonetheless. So looks like it's going to be Angus McIntosh, the 18-year-old, played in midfield last week. Just about scored a wonder goal on the run with the outside of his right boot. Would have almost been Andrew Naboot, get out of here sort of areas had that one gone in at Casey Fields last week. Schreiber's ball forward. Jurakovic. Ballo. Kutleshi. Schreiber. Everyone behind the ball in yellow shirts. Outside of the foot by Schreiber was cut off by Choctaw, and he motors across the halfway line. He's got Yokokawa and Duarte in support. Nico Duarte couldn't make the most of the opportunity. Choctaw doing well to play the ball through the lines and pick out his striker. So it's going to be the end of the shift from Roland Bello, who's been a constant threat tonight. Didn't manage to grab himself another goal to add to the 4 that he's already got in 6 games prior to tonight. So Angus McIntosh is going to come in. He play a slightly different role, perhaps. Well, it looks like it might even be Baker coming out to the left flank. We'll keep an eye on that. Some instructions coming through from assistant coach Jimmy Jago at the moment. Well, there's a bit of frustration in the technical area for Melbourne City, having just made that sub, and now it looks like they've got an injury concern to deal with, which might have influenced their decision to maybe go a different way with that change. But it looks like we're also going to see Luke Beshvinovsky getting his opportunity. We've got an impromptu drinks break taking place now. So it looks like Schreiber is the player who's sat on the turf at the moment, getting some attention from the trainer. So it has turned into an impromptu, little bit of a huddle moment for the players for both teams as they get some extra instructions from their coach. 25 minutes to go. It's a tense encounter. So it will be the 20-year-old Zane Schreiber who will get the early mark as he hobbles off the field. He's moving not too bad now, but either way his evening is done. So a chance for Beshvinovsky to come and strut his stuff out there. He wears the number 19 kit. It looks like he's going to be leading the attacking line now.
Number 37, Zane Schreiber, being replaced by number 19, Luke Beshvinovsky.
So Beshvinovsky to go into the centre forward position, and Beckham Baker to shift from there out to the left flank. And he enjoys playing out there. Does Baker, receiving the ball and coming in onto his right foot and shooting. So an early touch there for the substitute McIntosh as he goes back to his goalkeeper. McIntosh, just 18 years of age, 21 appearances and a goal in the VPL 1 last term. Calm by nature as well. McIntosh again for the second time gets the ball and just knocks it back to Neuenhausen. So the longer this game on, the more important every passage of play gets. More goals in this game, without a shadow of doubt. As Bonatig decides to edge forward, and then 2 steps forward, and then 1 step back. Durakovic. Kutleshi. Patient from City as they try and find their way through. Ball aimed at the substitute, Beshvinovsky. So what influence will the recent flurry of substitutions make, particularly by City, who've shuffled the pack a bit? Bringing on McIntosh and Beshvinovsky, and then shuffling a few other players around. This is a decent ball for Duarte. He gets a good touch out in front of him, trying to cut it back. It was well blocked by Bonatig. Across the face of the goal, attacking it was Yokokawa. Shockdow was in there as well, and it's come off a Melbourne City player. So another chance from the set piece as Marcus Humbert wanders over to float this one in. Little momentum shifts all the time in this one between these two technically gifted sides. Technically gifted and equally well coached as well. Humbert's delivery in. Away at the near post. O'Sullivan, it bounced a little bit high as he tried one of those slice volleys. Humbert's in space after being out wide from delivering the corner. He can float this one on the left foot. Collins was rising high, gets the header on target. Easy for Neuenhausen, and he's quick to release Mazzeo. He's got Beshvinovsky making the running ahead of him. Just had to check his run because didn't come his way as soon as he'd hoped. Good result for the Burgers as they get the throw in front of their adoring fans over in the eastern stand. So still just the one change made by Johnny A. Fletcher-Fulton off early, replaced by Anthony Theodoropoulos at left back. And here is that man on the ball now, motoring forward. Checks his run. He might have been fouled by Mazzeo there. Advantage is going to be played here. Yokikawa's in a bit of space. McGowan's in even more space on this near side. Jay McGowan, can he get past his man Kutleshi, who stuck a leg out, and he's given away the foul just near the corner of the 18-yard box. So an intriguing position for this set piece as James Neuenhausen sets up his wall. Daniel Wood yet once again indicating that we'll have to wait for his whistle before we can have this one restarted. He gets out the spray can and marks out the 10 yards as Neuenhausen's elected to have 2 in the wall. Everyone back behind the ball here for Melbourne City. Choctaw to deliver. Lethlean and Collins and Duarte, all likely targets. McGowan outside at the very back of the back post. It's a low ball in. Duarte got a touch, a glancing header, and I think some sections of the crowd from where they're positioned thought that was flying in. Clever ball from Choctaw. Everyone thought he was going to send that one in deeper than where it eventually went. The timing on the header from Nico Duarte wasn't too far off either. Calms and Bonatig playing out from their own 6-yard box again. Up the line, Shillington. The substitute is McIntosh. His clearance is deflected into touch. Forward by Bonatig. Shillington just lost control at the crucial moment. If Melbourne City could pinch a goal in this one and all 3 points, it would be massive for them in the context of this season. It would take them up onto 12, equal with Heidelberg and South Melbourne, the league leaders. Actually take them to outright top of the ladder tonight on goal difference. They're already sitting on a +4 goal difference. Only teams with a better goal difference than that, Preston and Bentley Greens of all teams. Mazzeo really dictating terms out there. Jurakovic, Baker into that back post area. Mazzeo just got his timing a bit off. He decided to take off into the sky a fraction too early, and the ball was still on its way to him. Here's Collins. Doesn't waste time in getting it forward. Cut off by Jurakovic. Lesiotis motoring across the halfway line. He's got Choctaw to his left. He decides to use him. Choctaw into the area, across the face of the goal. Yokikawa making the near post run. He didn't really have the ability to divert that ball towards James Neuenhausen's goal. Melbourne City can breathe a sigh of relief. But despite conceding plenty of attacking opportunities to Heidelberg, they never really looked that flustered, these young boys from Melbourne City in this defence, with Neuenhausen and in front of him Calms and Bontig. Melbourne City exchanging positions off the ball. The likes of Kutleshi and Jurakovic drifting inboard and outboard. Durakovic is on the near touchline here. He's going to get the ball now. Back to his captain, Calms. Neuenhausen rolls it out. McIntosh. Oh, he doesn't want to lose the ball there in that position, the number 6. And Lesiotis saw the opportunity that presented itself. Tried to chip the Melbourne City keeper. We've seen more and more examples of players in NPL Victoria trying to chip goalkeepers. It probably speaks volumes to the way that keepers are deployed in teams in this day and age, but also the fact that fancy players are doing more and more research on their opponents and knowing the likelihood of where they're going to be quickly when they win the ball back and the opportunity to try and send the ball in. That chance for Lesiotis was snatched at a little bit too much as he scuffed the attempted chip. Decent touch by Bessian Kutleshi as he drives inboard. Will he pull the trigger here? It's deflected wide. And it must have taken a touch off a Melbourne City player in the end, unless it was not deflected at all, because the decision from Daniel Woodyard is a goal kick. So inside 15 minutes to go. The second half has been an intriguing watch, but we haven't seen any goals since before the halftime interval when Jay McGowan got a touch off an attempt from a corner from Ben Collins. Oh, appeals. They're hailing a cab here. Oh, and the flag does come up. A nervy moment there for Melbourne City. And they thought Duarte was offside. And the flag did come in the end from Nicoletta Sotiropoulos to indicate that Nicholas Duarte hadn't quite got the timing of his run down to a tee. And it is time now for another change for John Anastasiadis. It's going to be one of their star players from that championship winning team, Max Basetto, who's recovered from a shoulder injury that saw him out of the early part of the season. Pretty handy player to be able to bring on in this sort of context. Heidelberg improving as this one goes on. Looking more likely to score at the moment. Here's Theodoropoulos, who gets the cross in on the left peg. It beats everyone at the far post. Beshvinovsky, the substitute. O'Sullivan with pace. And the Irishman plays it into the box. Away by Calms. McGowan trying to find space to get the cross in past his opponent Durakovic. Off the chest of Anthony Theo. He gets it again. Chokdao, will it sit for Chokdao? He's got an awfully powerful shot on him. But on this occasion, he really didn't make the most of the opportunity. And you can hear there James Neuenhausen frustrated by his defenders who he feels had switched off a little bit there and allowed Chokdao that attempt on goal. So it looks like it's Nicholas Duarte is the player who's going to get an early mark here. So the centre forward for a winger. So that's going to be a slight reshuffle for John Anastasiadis as Basetto runs out to that familiar left flank where we saw him play much of last year, and it might look like Chokdao is going to get a run in the striker position here. We'll keep an eye on that, unless it's Yokokawa to fulfill that role. You fancy it might be Chokdao though, and Yokokawa will just stay as the 10. Lesiotis had his pocket picked by McIntosh, but it went through to Lethlean, who got it going forward quickly. Might have been a foul by the fresh legs of Basetto on his opponent Bonatig. Basetto getting his imprint on the game quickly. And it's Melbourne City's turn to swing some changes. Paperwork has been submitted to the fourth official, Lazaros Pantelides. And the counter move some people coming in from Savas Patinkas as well. Looks like Joseph Lee is going to be coming on, possibly for Asahi Yokokawa, who didn't get through the full 90 last Sunday as well. Beshvinovsky, it's opened up here for him. And the substitute couldn't quite get past O'Sullivan, who just stuck that outstretched leg behind him, and it was good enough to repel the young Melbourne City attacker. So a half chance there for Luke Beshvinovsky. Good through ball to find him, and Heidelberg have been doing all the attacking. They looked a little bit exposed there. So Yokokawa's night is done. Chance for Joseph Lee to show something here.
United in the 81st minute of play. Number 10, Asahi Yokokawa.
Joseph Lee, the 23-year-old New Zealander, most recently of Auckland City. Can play as a left winger, but maybe he's going to be... I don't know, maybe it's two up front. It's hard to tell at the moment because they're in their defensive shape, Heidelberg, and they're doing the defending here because Kutleshi's bearing down on goal. This is Bessian Kutleshi. Beshvinovsky, good save, Souza at the near post. Beshvinovsky perhaps should have gone across the face, but it's still alive here, and Collins is going to get it out. Oh, good chance there for the substitute. And Souza held his ground and held firm when he had to. Heidelberg have been doing so much attacking in the last 15 to 20 minutes, and they've been split open a couple of times by Melbourne City on the break in a couple of forward forays. So we're going to get that changed now for Melbourne City. Emin Durakovic is the player coming off, and he's going to be replaced by Isaiah Boston. Good shift from Durakovic. He's going to get the round of applause as he comes off from all the staff in the technical area. So Isaiah Boston is going to slot into the left back position.
Replaced by number 12, Isaiah Boston.
So you just fancy there's still a big moment in this one to come. Lesiotis, he can turn and play forward here. Chokdao, who's dropped back out wide to his familiar left wing role, and he keeps going and keeps going. McIntosh has got the defensive work to do. With a bit of help from Shillington, they get it away, and now Mazzeo smashes it downfield, but it's all yellow shirts down there, and Lethlean can pick it up and recycle possession through Yaron Souza. Wafts it out wide. Beshvinovsky cut it off. Nervy moments here for this Heidelberg defence. Humbert back to do the mopping up. Lesiotis, and we had Baker sweating on him there. Mazzeo, Lesiotis. Oh, it's combative in the middle of the park. Good young talent on show here. Play simple. Here's the call from John Anastasiadis to his midfielders. They don't need to overcook it. McIntosh, he's got a good technical ability there as he turned and tried to play forward. Wasn't able to. Played it back to Calms. Here's Boston. Kutleshi. So Melbourne City's turn to enjoy a healthy spell of possession here. 7 minutes to go until stoppage time in this one. Oh, it's a mistake here from between Lethlean and Souza. They get away with it. They both left it for one another. No harm done in the end. Nervy moment for any Heidelberg fans in the venue. Neuenhausen, good distance on that to find Beshvinovsky. Perfect header to pick out Kutleshi. Beshvinovsky, can he get to the byline here? He beats one, he beats another one. Was he fouled? He's told to get back up. Oh, well, the Melbourne City staff are not happy with that decision. Want to see that one again. Well, the fresh legs of Luke Beshvinovsky went past one, went past another. He felt that there was a slight tug on his shirt. He went down. There wasn't a lot of protest from him himself, but there was a lot of protests from Melbourne City's coaching staff as they huddle around their replay screen on the bench to see that one again. Well, either way, it was a really enterprising run from the youngster, Beshvinovsky. He went past Humbert, past O'Sullivan, would have had to have been a spot kick too. Had Daniel Woodyard sounded his whistle, it was just inside the box. Maybe both players contributed to the tumble. It's a tough one to tell. The fact that Veshinovsky didn't have a lot of protest himself might maybe say something. Here's Boston. He's lost out eventually. Lesiotis is going to play it forward. Basetto shoulder to shoulder with Shillington. Max Basetto trying to show Shillington a yard of pace is the man with the fresh legs. Oh, well played Shillington. He gets the ball away. Kutleshi. Veshinovsky's got to time his run so he's not offside here. And he's done pretty well, but Heidelberg have had time to get players back. Veshinovsky motoring forward onto his left. Well, he's been an excitement machine since coming on as young Luke Veshinovsky. End-to-end stuff here now. This is Anthony Theodoropoulos charging forward from left back, and the decision's gone the way of Melbourne City. And Daniel Woodyard's going to have a little bit of a chat here to one of the non-playing members of the Melbourne City squad here. Not sure if it was Stuart McDonald or another one of his staff, but I didn't like what he heard there, Daniel Woodyard. So only 4 minutes of regulation time to go. It would almost be a shame if there was no more goals in this one, but I think either side, if they did concede, they'd feel hard done by. The quality out there tonight has been of a really high standard. And if you enjoy NPL football and the tactical nuances of champion teams playing against a team of the next gen, two great coaches as well, John Anastasiadis and Stuart McDonald at the helms of these two playing groups. It's a real pleasure to watch it all unfold in front of us. Melbourne City's academy team were tipped for being a relegation fodder. They've been impressive, and Baker might be in here. Baker, he's got one already, and he won't add to it there on that occasion. Just getting a little off balance with the shot, dragging it across his body. He couldn't have hit it any sweeter when he scored inside 5 minutes. Knocking the ball up to himself and volleying it past Sosa from about 8 yards. If you haven't seen that one, about 4.5 minutes into the match, that's worth going back and having another look at. It would have to have been one of the most satisfying goals to bury that a player could ever experience. It's Kutleshi's header, flicked on by Veshinovsky. Kutleshi again, playing it out wide, looking for Mazzeo. Basetto, Humbert, still full of running, is Choctaw. He's got McIntosh to beat. Inboard. Basetto's ball, I'm not sure if he was trying to line up for the shot there. It found its way to Heidelberg's only goal scorer, McGowan. Collins, who's the man we'll credit with the assist to the McGowan goal. We thought the goal had been scored by Ben Collins for a moment when it went in just before half-time. Well, that could be an awkward one. It's just inside the paint of the 18-yard box for James Neuenhausen. So a minute and a half to go, plus stoppages here. I hope you're enjoying this one. Wherever you're tuning in tonight, the Senol NPL Victoria Friday Night Football just keeps on delivering great contests like this one. Oh, they've turned it over here. Baker picks up the ball from Theodoropoulos. McIntosh. Mazzeo with space. Shillington plays it in. It's harmless in the end. They had plenty of numbers around the edge of the box there too, Melbourne City. Plenty of players forward. Ratmani and Baker were lurking. Here's Basetto. Joseph Lee, the substitute. Well played by him. Puts it out in front of Anthony Theodoropoulos, who's charging forward from left back. Schockdow was there. Humbert was arriving, and smothering the chance was James Neuenhausen. He's been really good in the second half. James Neuenhausen been called on a couple of times. A couple of good saves from Masahi Yokokawa. So we'll await the amount of added time. It's going to be 4 minutes, so 4 minutes for one of these sides to find a winner. And the amount of open and attacking opportunities we've seen tonight, you wouldn't be surprised if there is still to be another goal in this match to separate the two sides. A draw would be pretty fitting as well, though, to be fair. So this is going to play it forward here. It's a good header by McIntosh. Picked up by Lethlean, who's striding out of central defence. He's going to continue his run. He wants to get himself on the score sheet as the big central defender. Here's Basetto, turns in the middle of the park. Back to Anthony Theo. Basetto, pressure from Shillington. Humbert's going to get there first, shoulder to shoulder with McIntosh. Heidelberg thought that was a fair dues there by Marcus Humbert, but the decision went the way of City, much to the frustration of all of the home fans here tonight. So that first minute of the added 4 is almost evaporated here. Kutleshi, he looks tired as he goes to ground after being dispossessed. Heidelberg might have the fresher legs here. This is Lee across the face of the goal. Schockdow. Oh, great defending. Schockdow looked like he was in for a certain goal, and Shillington just willed himself and threw his body at the Heidelberg attacker. He's absolutely cooked as Harry Shillington, but he's just put in a match-saving effort there. As Daniel Woodyard calls the Melbourne City trainer out onto the park, so we're going to have added time on added time here. Dramatic end to this one. The Senol NPL Victoria men's competition, round 7. Plenty more great football coming your way this weekend. But if this is anything to go by, it's going to be must-watch viewing throughout this weekend, the final weekend of March. Feels like we're in July with the weather we've had tonight. So we've probably lost about a minute of playing time here. So we might be looking at maybe 5 added minutes worth of play. And Stuart McDonald's decided he's got enough time to make another change. It's going to be Oliver O'Carroll, who started last week in an attacking midfield role. He's going to be coming on for Bessio and Kutleshi, who's put in an outstanding shift tonight. And the way he's walking as he hobbles off the pitch speaks volumes to that effect. He's left it all out there tonight. He's going to be needing to get into the cold plunge tomorrow morning to recover from this one. Covered a fair bit of territory. So time ticking away on this one. Neuenhausen taking some time off the clock. Strong header by Ryan Lethlean. It hangs in the air. Returned by McIntosh out in front of Mazzeo. Heidelberg throw. Just going around the grounds quickly. Bentley Green's leading the Thunder 2-1. So Bentley Green's surprise packets this season, getting a few wins after a bit of a slower start. And the PA system is, I think, signalling full time here behind us, if you can hear that sound. But there's still time, perhaps. Lesiotis plays the ball forward. O'Sullivan in his stride, trying to get around Boston. Heidelberg were pleading for the corner kick, and they get the decision. So this is probably last roll of dice here, you fancy. It was an added 4, and then we had a little bit of time, added time on added time, after the trainer was called out for Harry Shillington, after he willed himself to make a match-saving challenge. So Lee to swing in the corner kick. It's away at the near post. Back in by Lesiotis, away by Boston. Theodoropoulos, Choctaw with an opportunity here. Can he drive it into the box? It might ricochet kindly for him, and is that all we've got time for? Souza could try and send this one back in. Anthony Theodoropoulos, Choctaw. Is he going to run out of room, and are they going to run out of time? Choctaw's gone to ground. He's feeling the pinch. He's put in a massive shift tonight as well. As have all of these players, particularly those ones who've been out there for the full 90. Here's McGowan. Good switch to O'Sullivan. Still we play. Over the top. Lee's making the running. Can he get there before the byline? Ratmani making a good run back to make sure he didn't have the opportunity to supply the cross. And that should just about do us here. Neuenhausen to take his time over the goal kick. And Melbourne City should be pretty proud of this performance to come here to this fortress that is Olympic Village. This group of youngsters, mind you, with a couple of their key players out on young Socceroos duty. Peter Antonio, Jaden Nikoski, Lawrence Wong all the way with the squad in China this weekend. And they've put in a performance to be proud of. Heidelberg have banged the door down in the second half, but they have not been able to beat James Neuenhausen, who's been really good in goal. And that is full-time, a fitting result between two top teams who've put in a fantastic shift. And if you're not entertained and impressed by the technical and tactical aptitude of these two squads and their coaching staff, well, I'm not sure what will impress you, because that was a fantastic performance by two professional outfits. Beckham Baker opening the scoring inside 5 minutes. Fantastic assist from that opportunity set up. Ben Mazzeo, Beckham Baker flicking the ball up to himself and volleying it home with a sweet connection past Yaron Souza. And then it was a Choctaw corner kick that undid Melbourne City just before halftime. It went all the way across to the back post to Heidelberg captain Ben Collins. And his attempt was steered home by Jay McGowan. Jay McGowan grabbing his second goal of the season. So he's outscored his performance last year where he's got the one in the league. He's got two already this year. Beckham Baker, that was his first in the league this season. Good performance by him, but eye-catching performances by so many players out there. This Melbourne City group can look forward to a week off over Easter, while Heidelberg United will be playing in the Doherty Cup Round 4 next weekend against VPL 2 High Flyers Melbourne City on Easter Saturday at Egan Lee Reserve. So no doubt a few Heidelberg fans will be making their way out to Egan Lee Reserve, back in action in the league the following week. Back here against Altona Magic, a rare Saturday afternoon game at Olympic Village, followed by a trip out to take on Caroline Springs George Cross at Fraser Rise. That should be a beauty before they play Avondale in round 10. Melbourne City, as we said, after the week off, a big game for them. They will be at home on the Sunday after Easter against Caroline Springs George Cross. Then they'll play Avondale at Avenger Park the following Saturday in round 9. And then they have a home fixture against Hume City in round 10 of the competition. Plenty of big matches for these sides coming up. Just checking that score again from down at Kingston Heath. Full time, it is full time there. 2-1 is the result to the Bentley Greens over the Thunder. On the NPL Victoria live stream, plenty of great football coming your way this weekend still. Tomorrow, Saturday, 2 p.m, big crowd expected out at Broadmeadows for Hume City and Preston Lions. That at 2 o'clock, Avondale and the Oakley Cannons. Always a big clash. Plenty of players who've lined up for both of those clubs over the years. That match at 3 p.m. tomorrow at Avenger Park. At 6 p.m. out at Fraser Rise, it's the Georgies against St Albans. At 6:15 tomorrow evening, Altona Magic and Green Gully, two sides that could use the 3 points. And then we have to wait until Tuesday to close out the round. South Melbourne and Dandenong City That's Tuesday night at 7:30 from Lakeside Stadium. Thanks for your company tonight. A very entertaining clash between these two sides. We hope you've enjoyed it. We've certainly been thoroughly entertained here. Big thank you to Raman behind the camera, giving you the best look at the action without any poles in his way from this fantastic vantage point, the gantry over here on the Darebin Creek side of the venue. We've enjoyed this vantage point thoroughly tonight. I've been Steve Curtin. Thank you for your company and looking forward to covering more games for you in the NPL Victoria. But for now, we'll sign off from Olympic Village. Wish you a great weekend where it is Heidelberg United 1, Melbourne City 1.